everyone, it's me, Kelly again. Welcome back to our YouTube channel. These writers have a way of pulling us right back in, don't they? And right now, the story swirling around Willow has me more captivated than I've been in ages. I've watched her grow from that quiet, determined young woman into a mother fighting with every ounce of strength she has. And this latest chapter feels like it's shaking the very foundations of everything we thought we knew about her. It's raw, it's intense, and it's got that special General Hospital magic that makes you lean forward and whisper to the screen, what on earth is she going to do next? I remember how Willow first came into our lives, all wide-eyed and full of quiet resilience, and how her romance with Michael seemed like the kind of steady, loving partnership that could weather any storm. But life in Port Charles has never been that simple, has it? Lately, with the pressure mounting from every direction, Willow has turned to Chase for comfort in a way that feels both heartbreaking and strangely inevitable. She's been carrying this enormous burden alone, and in a moment of raw vulnerability, she couldn't hold back anymore. She let it slip, the secret that Sidwell had forced her into poisoning Drew. Can you imagine the weight of that? I sat there, clutching my tea, thinking how this poor girl has been backed into a corner by a man who clearly sees her as nothing more than a tool for his own dark schemes. It's not the Willow we've grown to love over the years, the one who always tried to do right by her family and her own moral compass. This twist feels different from the original path her character was on, where her struggles were more about balancing motherhood and her own identity. Here, the writers have layered in this forced criminal act, and I have to say, it proves how far they're willing to push her limits to show us the true cost of desperation. It's a bold departure. And I applaud it because it makes her feel more human, more flawed, and somehow even more relatable to those of us who've seen our own quiet battles play out behind closed doors. Chase, bless his heart, was completely stunned when the truth tumbled out. You could see it in his eyes, the shock mixing with that deep, unwavering care he's always had for her. Their history together has always been one of those slow-burning connections that never quite faded, even when life pulled them in different directions. I've always believed Chase represented the kind of steady, protective love Willow deserved, the sort that doesn't demand perfection but offers a safe harbor in the storm. And in that moment, even as the revelation hit him like a freight train, it was clear his feelings hadn't cooled one bit. They were still burning just as brightly as they did during those earlier chapters when they first found each other. I've pondered this a lot in my quiet evenings. Does this mean the writers are steering us toward a reunion that feels earned rather than rushed? I think yes, and it sets them apart from the original storyline where Chase's role was more about friendship and support without this level of intimate confession. It adds a fresh layer of emotional depth that keeps me guessing, and I love how it reminds us that true affection can survive secrets and surprises. But just as their conversation started opening up those old wounds and hopes, everything came crashing to a halt. Sidwell's phone call sliced through the air like a knife, his voice dripping with threats that sent chills down my spine even from my living room. He warned Willow that if she didn't follow through with his plan at Turning Woods, little Amelia would pay the ultimate price. Amelia, that precious child who's already been through more upheaval than any little one should. Willow stood there on the edge of total collapse, torn between becoming the very thing she despises, a person capable of murder to save her daughter, or placing her faith in Chase, the one man who might actually be able to shield them both. I asked myself right then, as I'm sure many longtime viewers did, how much more can one woman endure before she breaks? The answer came quickly in my mind, she won't break, not if Chase steps up the way I believe he will. This dilemma feels so urgent, so heated, that I could almost feel the tension radiating from the screen. It's the kind of high-stakes choice that General Hospital does best, the ones that keep you up at night wondering if love and loyalty can truly triumph over pure evil. And here's where the story takes another turn that has me absolutely buzzing with anticipation, the way it ties directly into Michael, catching sight of some of the more frantic moments between Chase and Willow. I've followed Michael's journey for decades now, from his own turbulent childhood to becoming a father who'd move heaven and earth for his family. Seeing him stumble upon their intense exchange, witnessing the raw emotions and the weight of that poisoning secret, it's like a new adjustment in the narrative that changes everything. It's not the Michael we knew from the earlier plots. where his focus stayed squarely on business and fatherhood without this personal betrayal staring him in the face. This accidental discovery proves the writers are recalibrating the entire dynamic, layering in fresh complications that make Willow's situation feel even more obsessive and inescapable. She's no longer just navigating Sidwell's threats in isolation. Now there's this added layer of potential confrontation with the man she once built a life with. It's brilliant storytelling, really, because it forces us to question loyalties all over again. Will Michael react with anger or understanding? I lean toward the latter in my heart, knowing how much he's grown. But either way, it amps up the heat in ways that make every upcoming episode feel like must-watch television. What strikes me most about this unfolding drama is how it's reshaping Willow's entire arc into something deeper, more obsessive in the best possible sense. She's always been a survivor, but now the calculations have shifted. The original path had her more centered on healing and family stability, yet this new chapter introduces an obsession born from maternal love colliding with moral compromise. It's a powerful evolution, and I find myself nodding along, thinking how true it rings to real life, how far any of us might go when a child's safety hangs in the balance. Chase's steady presence offers a lifeline, and I truly believe their bond is the key to pulling her through. Sidwell may think he holds all the cards with his threats at Turning Woods, but he underestimates the resilience that Port Charles families are made of. I've seen it time and again. When the chips are down, these characters find strength in unexpected places, and this time it feels like Chase and Willow's connection could be the spark that ignites real change. As I reflect on all of this, I can't help but smile at how General Hospital continues to deliver these gripping layers after all these years. The threat to Amelia adds such a visceral urgency. It's not abstract danger. It's personal, it's immediate, and it makes every scene crackle with electricity. I keep picturing Willow standing at that crossroads, her mind racing between the unthinkable act Sidwell demands and the quiet promise in Chase's eyes. And with Michael now aware, the ripple effects could touch so many lives in ways we haven't even imagined yet. It's the kind of multi-layered tension that reminds me why I've stayed loyal to this show through every casting change and storyline pivot. The writers aren't afraid to evolve characters in surprising directions, and this Willow-Chase-Michael triangle feels like proof they're listening to what longtime fans like me have quietly hoped for. Stories that honor the past while charging boldly into uncharted emotional territory. There's a warmth in knowing that even in the darkest moments, hope flickers. Willow doesn't have to face us alone anymore, and that realization brings a sense of comfort amid the chaos. I've chatted with my fellow viewers at our little weekly coffee gatherings, and we all agree this storyline has us hooked like never before. The way Sidwell's manipulation forces Willow into such an impossible spot highlights how cunning he is as a villain, yet it also spotlights the strength of the good guys waiting in the wings. Chase's unwavering heart, Michael's accidental glimpse that could either complicate or clarify everything, it all weaves together into a tapestry of drama that feels alive and breathing. I find myself counting down the hours until the next episode, eager to see how Willow navigates that Turning Woods plan without losing her soul in the process. In my view, this isn't just another plot twist. It's a genuine evolution of the story that sets it apart from the original path we were on. Back then, Michael's focus stayed more on business and quiet family matters, but now he's developing this new obsession that feels raw and urgent. He's not just observing anymore. He's calculating every move, weighing whether to stay silent or let the truth spill out to Brooke Lynn. And let me tell you, once that secret lands in her lap, it's going to ignite something fierce. Brooke Lynn has always been the fiery protector of her loved ones, especially little Wiley, and I can already picture how this will make her and Wiley's world explode in the best and most dramatic way possible. It's that kind of family explosion we longtime fans live for, the kind where loyalties get tested and old wounds reopen under the brightest spotlight. What has me most concerned, though, is how this rising trouble is placing Willow and Chase squarely in the line of fire. Michael's growing fixation isn't just personal. It's creating fresh danger for them both. Willow has already been pushed to her limits with Sidwell's threats and that terrible burden of the poisoning secret. And now, with Michael potentially sharing what he knows, she could find herself facing judgment from the very people she once called family. Chase, bless him, stands ready to shield her, but even his steady strength might be tested when Brooklyn's protective instincts kick into high gear. I've seen this kind of escalation before in Port Charles, and it always leads to those breathless moments where one wrong word could shatter everything. The new calculations the writers are making here feel so deliberate. They're raising the stakes higher than ever, turning quiet observations into full-blown conflicts that keep us on the edge of our seats. And oh, the new shock that's coming? I believe it's going to hit like a thunderclap. When Brooklyn learns the truth and Wiley's world gets pulled into the middle of it all, the ripple effects will touch every corner of this storyline. It's not the same old family drama we knew from earlier seasons. This feels deeper, more obsessive, because Michael's decision could either heal old rifts or tear them wider open. I find myself wondering out loud to my television, will Brooklyn stand by Willow, or will her loyalty to Michael force a heartbreaking choice? But then I remind myself that in General Hospital, love and forgiveness have a way of winning out even in the darkest hours. This obsession of Michael's is changing the entire game, making every scene crackle with tension and possibility.